Hello, Archie Dunlop here with Talking Astrology with Archie on Friday, October the 13th, 2023. It's going to be a quick video because I'm not going to discuss any special topic. I was going to talk about the new moon, which is tomorrow, but I was thinking about this new moon, and then I realized something else about the new moon, and then I thought, well, actually I need to have a separate video about that. So a bit later today I will be putting up a video about the new moon, which is an annular eclipse, and so I will be doing that. Don't worry. So I'm only going to talk about today's astrology and today's I Ching. So let's go straight into the astrology for today, which is Friday, October the 13th, 2023. So if you want to know why I have put up a picture of Mount Everest on the top right, no particular reason. I just wanted to fill up that right-hand corner. In terms of the astrology today, well, we can't help but notice that there's a build-up to a new moon, this annular eclipse, which is tomorrow. It is the waning. It's the waning part of the lunar cycle. I mean, it's deeply waning. The lunar cycle is almost dead as we move towards the new moon tomorrow. So it might not be a particularly good time to start things because we're really doing stuff at the end of the cycle. If we want to start something, we want to begin after the new moon because that's the beginning of a new cycle. So just bear that in mind. If you've got some big project you're planning to initiate, then I suggest you don't do it. You don't do it today. I don't know what the Israeli army are planning as far as Gaza is concerned. At the time of recording, I don't think they've made any incursion into Gaza. I don't know if they will, but I suppose if one were to be consulting the Israeli army, one would probably say that if they were planning on going into Gaza, they should do it after the new moon, because that would be like a new beginning. I would have thought, all things being equal, a better chance of the operation being successful in terms of whatever aims they decide to set themselves. So that's the first point about today. Second point is you can see that the moon is now in Libra. All things being equal, probably for most of us, moon in Libra is better for moon in Virgo. I know the sign Virgo has a kind of bad reputation. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Virgo, but Virgo is kind of hard work, having to focus on details, and moon in Libra, particularly early Libra, is more able to sort of float on the surface and talk to people and gossip and not have to get into things too deeply. And with the moon in Libra, it is about socializing. It's about dealing with other people, interacting with other people. So if we're an extrovert and we enjoy other people's company, I think we'll appreciate the fact that the moon is now in Libra, but it's out of Virgo. So that's good. And also the moon in Libra is applying to a conjunction of Mercury. Doesn't actually get there today, but the very fact that the moon is moving towards a conjunction of Mercury does make it easier to communicate. There are things to talk about. It's a great time for making phone calls, that kind of thing. But don't expect much to happen because this is the time before the new moon. Don't reach agreements. That's probably not a good idea. You can sign off on things in a few days' time. Maybe next week. After the new moon, when you can start to see the first signs of the moon in the sky, assuming it's not cloudy. Because just remember, at the new moon, you can't see anything. The moon, by definition, you will not in the night sky. You will not see the moon by definition. So wait until you perhaps see that first sliver of a moon in the sky before making any commitments. Another aspect today is a trine between Mars and Saturn. You can see Mars is at 1 degree. Well, obviously this chart is set for noon, October the 13th, 2023 in New York. So there's no particular reason why it's set in New York. I just thought it was convenient. Has a lot of people visiting this site from the US, but then I have to take into consideration people in Europe and Asia and whatever, so I thought that New York was the sort of best place to set it. Mars is at 1 degree, 1 minute Scorpio, moving to in fact it's now just separating from a trine to Saturn. Now, if you've looked at my videos in the past, you will have probably noticed that I've often been very negative about Mars and Saturn as a pair, normally because I'm focusing on the hard aspects between Mars and Saturn. So what about a Mars-Saturn trine? Well, it depends what you want to do with it, basically. If you want to just relax and enjoy yourself, Mars-Saturn trine is not going to be very helpful. It doesn't like that kind of behavior. If you want to work hard, if you want to focus on getting results, if you don't mind, pushing yourself, maybe to the limits, I don't know, maybe not over the limit, if you don't mind pushing yourself, then I think that Mars-Saturn trine could be extremely useful. Possibly useful if you want to take someone on. I don't know. Although, bear in mind what I said. This is a build up to a new moon. You don't want to start anything now. So I'm not suggesting with Mars Saturn that you actually take any initiatives. It's more about your overall behaviour today. Just sort of work hard. Focus on the task at hand, and don't get distracted, and it will be fine. Mars in Scorpio is benefits from that trine to Saturn. Saturn gives it extra discipline. Mars in Scorpio, a fixed sign, is already quite disciplined. So with the trine to Saturn, really focused on a particular goal. So I think that Mars Saturn trine should be useful, though in certain situations it could be not so useful. If we're doing something dangerous, trines are about things that are easy, so it could be easy for things to go wrong. So just bear that in mind. A final aspect I wanted to talk about is a square aspect between Venus and the hypothetical planet Admetos. Admetos is one of the Hamburg School's hypothetical planets. It's sort of connected with death, but death as in something that is delayed. Admetos was, I think, a king who sort of did a deal with in order to prolong his life, and when he realized he was able to swap his life, but someone else had to die in his place, he wasn't so happy about it, and that made him miserable. And so we might get the idea of just keeping something going, but really has actually passed its sell-by date. So with Venus square Admetos, look at all the relationships you're in. Maybe there are a few relationships which have really come to an end. I'm not talking necessarily about romance. It could be business, could be friendship, whatever. But there may be relationships coming to an end and we're just trying to keep it going. Why? What's the point? Venus square Admetos, we want to keep this stuff going, perhaps because we're comfortable with it, perhaps because we can't perceive the world beyond that relationship, because it's become such a part of our past, and apparently part of our present. So if you are in any relationships like that, which have passed their sell-by date, It may be best if you bring them to a timely conclusion. But that's just an idea. I'm not saying you should do it. Just bear that in mind. So that's the broad picture today on Friday, October the 13th, 2023, at least what I'm seeing. Maybe you can see something else. So what I want to do now, as usual, is do my forecast for the 12 signs for today. So here they are. These are my star sign forecasts for Friday, October the 13th, 2023. Aries, you're able to consider other people and put yourself in their shoes. But just because you understand someone's lived experience doesn't mean that you empathize with them. There are other things to consider, perhaps of a selfish nature. At the same time, you're able to work hard with incredible self-discipline. Success is a marathon, not a sprint. Taurus, things are going on which you might not be fully aware of. People doing stuff, the future being planned, and if you're not careful, you could be left behind. It's therefore important that you take an interest in what's going on, because it might impact you more than you realise. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Gemini, everyone needs inspiration, and you're the person to provide it. Your creative talents will be obvious and you'll be able to engage with other people. But once you've got the support and appreciation you need, you'll have to put in the work. At times it won't be easy, but right now you've got what it takes. Cancer. Mars in Scorpio makes a trine to Saturn in Pisces, and your sign, Cancer, completes the triangle. This is a two-edged sword. You might feel a twinge of negativity, a feeling that things are moving from bad to worse. But really, you're in control, and if you work hard, you can move the largest of obstacles. Leo. Leos like attention, but today you function best when no one is watching over you. You can quietly get on with the job, and your confidence won't be knocked by unhelpful comments. Yet one particular person who you feel a close tie with can be surprisingly inspirational, and at some stage you might want to follow their lead. Virgo. Old memories are swirling around and making you feel that what's happened in the past is now moving forward into the future. There might be similarities between now and then, but there are also major differences, and the end result is unlikely to be the same. And when you release yourself from the chains of the past, the sky is the limit. Libra. The moon is moving through your star sign. You're responsive to your environment, and you're quick to make changes to your style and approach, if needed. But don't try too hard to please, because you can't be all things to all people. At some stage, you have to decide who you are and what you stand for. Scorpio. Just because you hold all the cards doesn't mean that you have to shout about it. In fact, if you're underestimated, you'll be in a stronger position, and you'll be helped by a favourable aspect between Mars and Saturn. You know what's required of you, and if you put in the effort with a smile, you'll be amply rewarded. Sagittarius. Use the prevailing energy in the right way and everything will be fine. While it might be tempting to focus on your social life, your friends could be disappointing, and they might promise much and deliver very little. But if you instead put your energy into private pursuits with minimal outside contact, there could be real satisfaction. Capricorn. A great day in a Capricorn way. With Mars making a fortunate aspect to Saturn, you'll be able to get a lot done, and you'll be able to focus on the things that matter. And you won't be bothered if the work is difficult or tedious. And yet, with the moon in Libra, you'll have the charm to keep people on your side. Aquarius. Like Capricorn, the other Saturn-ruled sign, Aquarius can have a constructive day. The emphasis is not on enjoying yourself, rather it's on getting things done. You have a set of targets and you have the possibility of achieving them one by one. In the process, you can bring to bear new techniques that perhaps you have recently learnt. Pisces, you have a clear idea about the way things should be organised, and you're not particularly open to alternative views. While it's usually a good idea to listen, today it might be best to do things your way and not allow yourself to be knocked off course by alternative views. Hesitation is sometimes a virtue, but at other times it can be seen as a sign of weakness. I'm now going to move to the I Ching. So, as always, I ask the question, what is Friday going to be like for people watching this video? And the first hexagram I got was hexagram number 64, last hexagram in the book, before completion. So if we look at the hexagram, the top three lines represent fire, and the bottom three lines represent water, represent the abyss. So sort of fire over the abyss. I think that the fire represents our actions, and the water below means that we have to be careful. The fire could so easily get quenched by that water if it falls in, and then the lights could turn out, whatever. So we're engaged in something, and it feels that we're nearly finished, nearly done. Maybe you're trying, it could be something really trivial. I mean, I'm sorry about using that word trivial. I shouldn't use that word trivial. Something minor, something not about a life and death thing. Maybe you're baking a cake, and it's in the oven. It's fine. It's almost there. Maybe you're fixing something. Almost there. Maybe you're trying to, get a job, do something in the garden, whatever it is. You're almost there, but you're not there yet. And the suggestion there is that last bit before you reach your destination is possibly the most dangerous bit. It's a bit where things could go wrong. The I Ching uses a symbolism of a fox crossing ice, and the fox is kind of almost there, but it mustn't get its tail wet. So the nearly there, but things could still go wrong, and we have this line moving, and this line moving is dangerous. We're put in a contradictory situation. We have to go forward. We have to achieve our aims in order to complete. On the other hand, we haven't got the strength to do it. So the question is, what do we do? Well, what this means is we haven't got the strength to do it on our own. We might need some help. Now, if there's something going on with your cake in the oven or whatever, maybe you just need to get another family member to help you with something, or get some advice, or help you, I don't know, pick up a hot dish, or whatever you need to do. It could be something trivial like that. If you're fixing something and you're not sure what to do, you're tempted to plow on. Stop what you're doing. That might mean, I don't know, going on to, looking up one of those YouTube videos which tells you how to fix things, and getting some help in that way. Or you may have to call in an expert. But whatever it is, whatever you're engaged in, that thing you're trying to complete, you need some help. You need some advice. If you're you know, in the middle of trying to negotiate a job or whatever, and you know, you might, you know, you need some advice on how to deal with the situation. The way you've got it at the moment is not quite enough. So you're not there yet. So this line moves, and so when this line moves, this bottom hexagram, which I said is about water, it moves. Sorry, trigram. I should say that a hexagram relates to the concept of 6, and each hexagram is composed of 2 trigrams. So with 3 lines. So this is the top trigram, this is the bottom trigram. So the bottom trigram moves. It moves from being a water trigram to being a wood trigram when this line moves. So let's just see what happens when you move when you move to 50, the cauldron. And that kind of makes sense because there's the wood. That's the wood that you're heating the whole cauldron up with, and of course, cauldron is about fire. And you know, cauldron is quite a powerful hexagram. It's about marshalling all our resources and completely changing the situation. In the process, there may be something of a sacrifice because, you know, Greg Winchup in his book on the I Ching, he I think describes this hexagram 50 as, I think he talks about ritual. It's not just any cauldron. It's not just some cauldron for cooking up food. It's about some kind of ritual where one thing has to go to create something else, you know, because you're burning something up. And so something has to go if you want to create a new situation. So you sort of have to put in all your resources, everything you've got, and create a new situation. And, you know, this may be telling us something about the previous hexagram before completion. You know, we haven't completed yet. We haven't finished yet. And in order to finish, we need to accept that things aren't going to be the same. We have to create a brand new situation. Greg Wincup talks about a new regime having to be formed. So we've got to accept that. But the past is gone. If we want to be successful on this, we've got to take a completely different approach, and we might have to give something up. And you know, that could be tough, but you know, but that's the nature of the cauldron. Things are burning up, and you know, as things burn up, they transform from one thing to another thing. But in this way, provided you understand what's required of you, you can complete the task, and there can be a satisfactory outcome. So that's all I'm going to say for today. At least all I'm going to say for this video. I'm hoping to put up another video very soon relating to the new moon annular eclipse on the 14th, which means that I will be talking to you again very soon.